Now bring in two conservative voices now. Brian Tierney served in Republican campaigns and administrations and marketing executive and former publisher for the Philadelphia Inquirer. And Lawrence Jones is with us. Hello. Lawrence Jones is with us. Are we good, guys?
We're good.
Okay, Lawrence Jones is with us, host for the Blaze TV and radio and a conservative commentator. Brian, let me just begin with you. You know, for Trump to say that the system is rigged, what are we, 22 days out? Why?
Yeah. Well, first of all, just pragmatically, it's not rigged. I mean, the system's not rigged. The New York Times is not out to get him. All that's just. And I can tell you, just from a purely marketing standpoint, too, one of the things I learned as a young man working at the Republican National Committee is you win with 50% plus one. You don't win with. So he's speaking to the base. He's exciting the base. But he's also playing into the Clinton narrative that he's unhinged. And I think there's an ugliness about this campaign. I was in the arena when Ronald Reagan took the nomination in 1980 as a young man. There was a certain sense of he played to his base, but he also talked about optimism and hope. And Donald Trump his advisors must feel like pulling their hair out. He has to get beyond this and start talking about other things to build a winning coalition, or he's going to lose.
You know, Lawrence, I was talking to a Trump surrogate last hour who was saying, you know, he's saying all of this because he's trying to get folks out to the polls. But you talk to others who say no, he's trying to depress the vote. That was part of there was a piece in the Wall Street Journal last week where an advisor was saying that his strategy is to depress the Democratic vote. What do you think he's thinking?
I don't know. I think he sees the writing on the wall. I mean, it's pretty clear that many people are upset, especially after the most recent comments. Even conservatives that supported him in the beginning are withdrawing their support. I even see some of them now trying to compare what he's doing right now to the hip-hop community. Conservatives that never listened to hip-hop before.
How is that parallel?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. They compare what he did to the hip-hop community as somehow justification to entertainment. So I'm not sure what path Donald Trump has right now. I tried to be objective and give him a shot, but I think he's running into a brick wall.
Okay.
Yeah. No message discipline at all. No message discipline at all. He's bouncing everywhere.
But you still have, you know, his high-profile surrogates, the Rudy Giuliani's, the Newt Gingriches. You know, they're taking the rigged line. They're running with it. They're running with it, Brian.
Yeah. But you know, that's only three voices. So what he needs to do is to have a message that appeals to a broader coalition that gets other Republican governors, other voices. Otherwise, he's going to really own about 42% of the vote. And he's going to get clobbered. I mean, just purely from a marketing perspective, let alone where you believe them.
Go ahead, Lawrence.
Here's the reality, Brooke, and this is my perspective. I think Trump voters and a lot of the Republican Party got played. There's a lot of people that I believe this too. I believe the media in a certain part of the media, I'm not saying all the media, propped Trump up. And they let him implode. They gave him all this media coverage. And then in the general election, they just let him explode. There were people that could have actually won this election. But instead, people were so angry, they put this guy that didn't even do Oppo research on himself. And they waited. I mean, we saw this in WikiLeaks. This was their strategy. They wanted this guy to implode in the general election. Let him win the primary, cater him to the media, and put him on a platter to explode.
Well, so
and you know what?
He's on
one
the
thing
platter,
about at least they have a strategy. It doesn't seem like Trump has a strategy.
Trump would, but with everything that Lawrence just laid out, Brian, you know, you look at, and I realize some people will say polls schmoles, but some of these numbers matter because when you look at some of these battleground polls that have just come out, you have 3 states. Look at this: Nevada, North Carolina, Ohio, key states to get to the White House, and it's not quite the apocalypse maybe for the Trump team that Hillary Clinton's camp would have you believe. How would you explain that?
I dig down into, you know, you look at those states, you look at states like Pennsylvania, though, that, you know, there was a hope for. It's peeling apart here. You're looking at some of the other states as well. And I just think at a broader base, to win an election, you have to have, I go back to 50% plus one of those who turn out. He's exciting a certain amount of groups, but he's also motivating the other. He needs to build upon that. He needs to talk more about his daughter and his children and his hopes and his dreams. Some optimism here. I mean, and I think otherwise it's kind of like a George Wallace Go ahead.
He needs to talk to other voters as well, not just the same
base.
Republican base. You know, at first he was trying to at least attempt to talk to black folks and talk about our situations, which sometimes Republicans really don't do. You know, T.I., the rapper, says that hip-hop is a reflection of our pain. Talk about the economy, talk about the education system, and actually show up in our community. Right now, he's not doing that at all now.
All right.
Even if he's just doing it to try to get the moderate Republican or moderates in the middle of various parties, making those kind of appearances make sense. Because all he's doing is, again, exciting a cool, but he's got a 4-story ladder for an 8-story building.
Brian Tierney,
he's preparing
Lawrence
for
Jones.
disaster.
We'll see. We'll see. 3 weeks out, guys. Thank you so much. And also, perhaps someone who could put forth the optimism that we were just discussing.